Fury will destroy Usyk now after Usyk's performance against Dubois.
Well, this is it's probably crazy, but I had to think.
Oh, crap.
Because in the first few rounds, Fury does outland him.
Nah.
Interest from that side, it's a good way of grabbing the audience to get that fight.
He's beaten Joshua. He's beaten Fury.
He was like, oh, okay, you've still got something left. All right, welcome back to BoxCast, another episode today.
Been a while.
Yes, special guest Simon again. Say hello.
Only because I've been on holiday.
Not all of us as lucky as you. Look at your tan. It's better than mine. I'm jealous. And today we're going to be discussing the heavyweight scene and a certain fight between a UFC fighter and a heavyweight, that's supposedly the best heavyweight of all time. Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou.
I think you should call
how that affects the boxing scene.
Yeah, I think you should call this the decline of the top heavyweight.
Well, I was thinking the same thing. If that's supposedly the best heavyweight of all time, all right, we can discuss whether he took it seriously or whether it was more just for the money. And say that he's the best. Yeah. I think the best argument you can have is the best of this generation, but is this generation really?
Is he the best of this generation, though?
No, because I think it's for Usyk.
If you go on resumes, it's Joshua.
Yeah, but he got beat by Usyk twice.
I don't care. If you go on resume, it's Joshua.
I think Joshua, for the impact he's had on not just the heavyweight scene, but boxing in general, yeah. I think there's a fairly good argument about.
I took it to that next level.
He sort of Caneloized the boxing scene. I think him and Canelo were at the same sort of marketing level. He may even be more because obviously heavyweight is the main.
Well, there was an interesting thing on the. I don't know if it was on TalkSport the other day about the pay-per-view buys.
Well, they were disappointed for this fight, weren't they? Compared to what they thought.
To be honest, I think the Saudis that they didn't really care.
Yeah.
But I've heard it's a massive loss.
Well, do you want to hear my theory? No, mad
Go
theory.
on, your theory.
This is my mad
which has
theory.
been exciting me for.
This is it's probably crazy, but I had to think. My thought was this: Tyson Fury could have on purpose made him look that bad because one, it's playing possum a little bit. It's like Usyk's own game. To get the Usyk Fury fight, it generates a bit more interest in the Usyk Fury fight because I think before most people thought Fury's too big, he's going to beat Usyk. Now there's a bit more because there's a fair few people who were like, yeah, Fury wipes the floor with him now. Like, oh, Usyk might have a chance in this. And second part, it sets up a rematch with Ngannou because now people actually will be interested in the fight in that can Ngannou beat him, and then that crossover fight could make a lot more money. And the other theory for it, and this, if it is the case, then I have a lot more respect for Tyson Fury, is that he's actually trying to help Ngannou make some real money because now it sets up like he could have a fight with Joshua, which will be huge, or Wilder, which will be huge. And even though he's damaged his reputation, he's actually accelerated Ngannou's because now he can get a big fight, even though this didn't do that well. But there'll be a lot more interest in it now because everybody's like, oh, well, actually, he did really well. And all the UFC, and it's a pull at like trying to get UFC fans in because they've always sort of rubbish boxing as it's one way. Does it make sense? Or am I just talking rubbish? I don't think it's true, but I was just thinking as a crazy conspiracy theory, it could be quite interesting.
I just think Fury's legs are gone.
Yeah, that's a bit more boring though. Mine was more interesting.
But I genuinely think his legs are gone.
I think a fair few people have said that.
He hasn't got that spring in his step anymore.
Well, people were saying like that the punch he got caught with in the third round is like a lucky punch. There's people who probably haven't watched it because if you actually watched it, I think Ngannou tried it twice and missed the same tactic when he was coming in on the way out trying to catch him. I mean, the third time he grazed him, it was sort of, well, you probably can't see if you're listening, but a bit. And the fourth time he caught him and knocked him down. And he didn't have that in and out bounce that he normally has. But do you think that's because he didn't train properly for it? Didn't take it seriously?
No, I think he has taken it seriously.
Or generally he has.
The problem you've got is trainers they look at past videos of boxers when they're training, and there is none of Ngannou.
Yeah, it's quite hard to.
And
set
let's
up
be
for
honest,
a
you
fight.
don't know what he's going to come in and do. Is he going to come in and try and box? Is he going to come in and just try, because he's got the most powerful puncher in the world, and that's like
Allegedly,
yeah. So
recorded. So yeah,
is
it's
he just
factual.
going to come in and just try
Swing?
And, yeah. See, I get it from Tyson's point of view. You don't actually know what you're getting. All you've got is some lump in front of you.
Big, strong, in shape lump.
And let's not forget, Fury hit him with some bombs.
Yeah, and he just took him and carried on going.
And I think Fury went, oh crap.
Yeah.
I'm not budging him.
Well, his face when he was on the floor once he got knocked down, if you can put that on as if that was an act, he's a very good actor.
See, I just don't think it was an act. I think, I think Fury's gone, oh, it's going to be mega money, this. I do genuinely, I mean, what is Fury now? 34, 35?
Somewhere there, yeah. We checked it, didn't we, on one of us?
I mean, when I got to 34, 35, I went on the decline rapidly. It's far for time.
It's not a bad argument, except you've got like Crawford's older than that. I think Usyk's older than that.
I think it's... look at Tyson Fury,
But the thing is, he's a big
lump. And he's all
6'9",
legs,
whatever, 6'8". Yeah.
His body's most probably the same size as someone who's 6'2". He is all leg. And that's a lot of weight to carry on them legs.
And he was really, 276 pounds. So he was heavy.
Yeah, I think if it had been a 12-round fight, it would have been a different story,
Well, I think both of them were... you never normally see Fury gas out. But I think Ngannou was measured. So they'd worked that out because obviously he's carrying around a lot of muscle. So he didn't go all in. He played it quite clever. Because I think the preparation they've done is they've obviously watched it. And I think having Mike Tyson in the corner has worked it out. Because that left hook that they had, they tried it and tried it and tried it. They must have seen something that they know that he does that they can like counter. But they also, I think, because he's a big lump, instead of doing like Joshua used to do in early ones, but the thing is, he used to finish people early, and then when he's had to go the distance, he does gas. I think he was measured instead of rushing in and doing it all, and I think that was also, like you said, a surprise to Fury because they expect him to swing, do a Wilder basically. Because if you're a big puncher, that's what they expected. We're just wait and hit, and he didn't gas out. I think he did. He got a second wind because there's a few rounds in the middle, isn't it, where he looked like he was tiring out. But
who did you have winning?
Ngannou. And I've just looked at my scored card because I thought it was closer, but it was like 97-92 to Ngannou.
Wow, okay.
I gave the first round to Ngannou, the second round to Ngannou, the third round 10-8. Then I gave Fury 2 rounds, the fourth and the fifth. So 9-10, 9-10. Then what are we up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 6th, 7th, 8th, I gave to Ngannou, and then I think it was the 9th I gave to Fury, and then the 10th to 10th to Ngannou as well. More based on the fact that I didn't actually see Fury do that much. I think actually I've watched it back, and I think I might be a bit biased in that I wanted, because Ngannou, it wasn't what we expected, because in the first few rounds, Fury does outland him.
I mean, there's a lot of people saying that Ngannou won. And
I think it was closer than my scorecard, if I'm being honest. I watched it back, and I think it was about 90.
I had it by 1 round to Ngannou.
I think it is more realistic.
I've got a theory that anywhere else in the world, Ngannou wins that.
Yeah, well, I think if they don't have the fight already set up with Usyk.
And that's it. Because the Saudis aren't going to risk this
mega fight
for the undisputed. For some, let's be honest, amateur boxer to come in and spoil their plans. So yeah, I do think anywhere else, I think Ngannou does get the decision.
But I think that I hope and I think they will. They'll make it up to Ngannou because I think they want to give him another shot at a big
I think
payday.
though as well is I found it interesting the Fury didn't do any of the press conferences afterwards.
Well, he was very humble afterwards, which is a bit strange.
Yeah, in the ring, but
he didn't do
any of the post fight press conferences or anything like that.
I think he knows he lost. I think he did in the ring. I think he was just, Warren said, don't worry, it's sorted. He sort of knew that it was sorted, but because I suspected when he got to points that he was going to be that case.
I get it. I think he might have took the thought, oh, this is going to be because let's be honest, everyone was saying, I mean, I think me and you even included, Fury should knock him out in a couple of rounds. So maybe that has got into his head, and that's what he's took.
We'll knock him out. Even though I didn't appreciate how big and strong Ngannou was. If you look at the size, and he's came in heavier than he normally is. But at least outbox him. Just outbox him for the whole 10. If it was an exhibition, outbox him for the 10 rounds as a warm up for.
But let's not forget, 3 months ago everyone was saying, oh, Fury will destroy Usyk now after Usyk's performance against Dubois.
Well, that's why I said, my cunning theory that he's played possum.
And now everyone's saying, oh, bloody hell, Anthony Joshua had wiped the floor with Fury. Going back to the fight, I mean, it was a massive event.
I think you got to take into account, though, that Ngannou was stronger, at least as strong as he is, and big, and he couldn't bully him, because normally he tried his tactics of putting weight on, and it didn't work on Ngannou, because Ngannou just tossed him off. Whereas I don't think any of the others, maybe Joshua, I don't think any, like Wilder was, because he tried on Wilder, and Wilder, while he had a bit of gas at the beginning, could, and then that's why he's in the rounds at the beginning. But once he got tired, he couldn't push him off.
Yeah, well, this
he's
is where
too light. I know that's where Usyk's problem might be.
But I don't think.
But Usyk, he's not going to catch.
He's not going to.
He's too small.
He's not going to get the chance to lean on Usyk.
Yeah,
Usyk's footwork is just going to be.
Yeah, in, out, hit him, sting, out. But I did say that Fury does get caught, because Wilder caught him. And Wilder's not as good. Is not technically as good. I think Ngannou's punching was better than Wilder's is.
Yeah, I've always said Fury hasn't got a great chin.
And Joshua's punching is better than either of them.
I mean, it's not Fury's chin because he gets caught on the.
No, I think he's
Fury's
quite tough.
what really good at is he's good at riding the shot, so his head's always coming down. So I've never seen him flushly caught on the chin.
He wasn't even flushly caught with.
It's
this
always
one was the side of the head.
It's always here, which I know myself because I've been punched in the side of the head plenty of times. That does scramble your senses.
No, I think he's got a good recovery, because obviously he recovered from Wilder, and Wilder has caught him. And he, not just once, 2 or 3 times. And even against Ngannou, it was more, I think, the shock of being there.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, wait. But he wasn't completely out of it. It was more just like, oh, what am I doing here?
I was just expecting a bit. I think after Fury's fight against Dillian Whyte, where he sparked Dillian Whyte out cold, you think. Because I've never had Fury as a big puncher.
No.
Yes, he's knocked out Wilder, but not been. Wilder,
I don't think he's a particularly big puncher. He's not like, I wouldn't say he's a Wilder. He's not. I don't even think he's a Joshua level where they've got that one punch.
Yeah, I mean,
but I think he wears the guy down.
Yeah, I mean,
he's more technical
against
puncher.
Wilder, I think if you'd have blown on Wilder, he was that tired, he'd have fell over.
I think that was the issue, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, Dillian Whyte, he caught him with an uppercut from. So you were thinking, oh, maybe he has got power, but.
Against Ngannou, you would have said so, because Ngannou just kept coming forward.
No, because that's what I mean.
It's more he's saving himself for not gassing out Ngannou than, like, he wasn't really worried. It was like watching Canelo when he just walks down people, like you said with
I mean,
Charlo and Co, where he wasn't like, I'm not, you can
the
punch,
Fury,
but it doesn't hurt me.
The Fury Usyk fight, it is more intriguing now, because you are thinking, well, after Usyk's last performance and Fury's last performance, interesting. I still don't think it's the biggest heavyweight fight out there. I still think Joshua Wilder's the biggest heavyweight fight out there. Mm-hmm. I think that's much bigger, and I think it generates more income, more pay-per-view buys.
I think it generates more interest, yeah. Usyk Fury's more for the people who are into the boxing.
It's a boxing purist
but that's
fight.
A small number of people, relatively. And I think the people who are more into just the fight, I think Wilder Joshua makes more sense. I think even Joshua Fury makes more sense.
I don't...
Not for me, because I'm like fanboy of Usyk, but everybody else. I think
Joshua.
Sense.
I think Usyk Fury happens in February. That's what they're saying now. Was December the 23rd, and
that was too soon, and I didn't.
I had all the stuff that Fury was like, "Oh, if he doesn't fight me 23rd, he's signed for it. He's getting sued." What a load of rubbish! Just keep your bloody mouth shut.
Yeah.
It's happening in February. I think if Fury wins, he retires.
Yeah. I think seeing his face after the Ngannou fight, I think he's just going to retire now, because I don't think he's going to do another fight.
Yeah.
And I don't think he really needs the money.
But
he might want the money. I don't think he needs really.
So this is why I don't think Fury Joshua never happens.
Yeah. I think it only happens if he loses.
Yeah, but then see, the cynic in me is I'd be like AJ. I'd be going, "Nah, you can sod off, mate. You didn't give me the bloody time of day."
Yeah.
So why?
But I think it's for AJ's leg. I don't think AJ
You know
needs
what?
the title. It's
I don't
legacy.
think AJ would do that. I think AJ more. He doesn't care. He'll fight whoever. But he's quite
huge
within.
payday.
He is quite within his rights to go. Nah.
Well, yeah, I think they'll be in the negotiating side. I think it will be in Joshua's favour.
Yeah, you've lost your 50-50, mate.
Not Fury, sorry.
Yeah, you've lost your 50-50.
The only thing for shame for Joshua is I don't think there's much point of him fighting Usyk again and the interest in it. Although if he gets a belt or a thing,
I think
if he can
Joshua
get one
wants to
off,
fight
if he
Usyk
can get the
again.
IBF, then I think he will.
I think Joshua wants to fight Usyk again.
Oh no, I think he does. And
I think it's eating Joshua inside.
Yeah.
The Usyk's beaten twice. I think he hates it. And I think if you take away that smile, he is angry as hell.
Yeah.
And he wants another crack at Usyk.
But I think he needs to go round to build up. I think, then if he fights Fury and beats him, then I think if you can do Wilder, I think then you get to Usyk and then if he beats Usyk, then he's got a rightful claim.
Well,
Even if he beats Wilder and
I'm hearing that
Fury, he's got a big claim.
He could be fighting on December 23rd, Joshua.
Yeah, I've heard some things. Who do you think it is? A warm-up or is it? But there isn't really. I think anybody where he's at, it's not a warm-up. It's going to be a tough fight.
I think it's either Zile Zhang
Yeah.
or Filip Hrgović.
They're both tough fights. But if he gets through them, then I think he's got a good claim to fight.
If he beats Hrgović, he becomes IBF mandatory.
Yeah.
But from what I'm hearing,
He might even get the belt.
Joshua and Wilder will both be fighting on the same bill. And then if they both come through, they'll be fighting in March, April.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And then that gives time for the Fury-Usyk fight. So then after that, it's going to be winner versus winner. I think the Wilder Joshua fight, obviously it was going to happen in Saudi, wasn't it? They pulled out. I still think it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to generate... Obviously, they'll be getting a site fee from the Saudis. But you can go and fill Vegas or... I don't think Wembley's a good choice, not with our beautiful British weather.
No.
You could do the Millennium Stadium.
Yeah.
I still think, they had plans, didn't they? Like, it's going to be Joshua Wilder, and then whoever wins that will fight the winner of Fury Usyk. I still think that is going to happen. I do.
I hope so.
But I just think it's going to be a little bit later. I think Joshua and Wilder will both have fights before they fight each other.
Yeah. I think it makes sense to do because Wilder's been out, isn't he, for a long time?
Wilder's had a 45-second fight in 2 years.
Yeah. I think he needs it to fight. And I think Joshua needs to build up his confidence a bit as well. Where Hellenius was a bit longer and he boxed well. It was a smart fight rather than an all-out gung-ho. I think he still needs a tough fight. I think if them two could take care of Hrgović and Zhang, I think Zhang's got a big say in there, though.
Yeah, but Zhang and Hrgović, that's a fight that Joshua will...
It's a proper fight.
Yeah, he's going to get up for
close.
that.
Yeah. I think they're the two best contenders, other than these upcoming ones. But I think of the established.
But then
there's a
Zhang's Chinese, isn't he? Because I know isn't. No, it's Matchroom are having a show in Japan, aren't they? Not China. Or is it China? I think it's Japan.
I think Zhang will come and do. He's the same as Usyk. They'll go to the backyard and do. He's not that bad. But you will get huge interest from that side. It's a good way of grabbing the audience to get that fight. I think him against Wilder or him against Joshua would be more I'd want to watch.
But and again, you've got to throw Ngannou in there now because Ngannou Joshua is a big fight.
Yeah.
But that is just a money fight.
Yeah.
Which I don't.
Well, they've ranked Ngannou now, isn't it? Although fairly low, but
I don't think Joshua is interested. Yeah, don't get me wrong, money is. I think Joshua wants his belt back more than the money.
I think he wants to repair his legacy. That's why I think he'd even fight them just like a Fury, even if Fury loses, just to show that he can. And then like I said, I think if he gets past all those, I think he can earn a third fight against Usyk.
But then you say, oh, he's past it. If you go on like Fury's last performance, you'd say,
Well, I've always said Joshua beats Fury.
yeah.
I think he's got, not because I think he's better. Yeah, Fury's the better boxer technically. But
I mean,
has
if
he
you
got the
look
legs?
at
Has he got the motivation?
Fury's
Has he got
last
the
two
physique?
fights were-
You can't bully Joshua like he's bullied Wilder and people before him. Like, you couldn't bully Ngannou when you seen him coming unstuck. Or I think there may be more to that fight. And he didn't take it as seriously. But, Ngannou isn't that different from... Ngannou's a bit bigger than Joshua,
Yeah.
but Joshua's the same, muscle, powerful thingy. And if Joshua can control his gassing out... because that's basically the problem Wilder had, is he got gassed out.
Yeah.
If he can control it, because he can throw around. He's strong enough to push Fury or off.
Thing is, and
It's a good fight,
yeah.
because Joshua's a lot better technically than Ngannou, than Wilder.
The problem is that this is what I said at the start. It's the decline of the heavyweights because
Yeah.
these heavyweights are all around the 35-year-old mark. They're going to be gone in 2 years.
Yeah. Well, even the people coming, Zhang and Hrgovic, about that age, aren't they?
They're all going to be gone. So there's
Zhang's already older. He's 40 odd.
yeah, the passing of the torch is going to be soon, really soon. So they need to get these fights on now, otherwise that's it. It's never going to happen, and you've got to give the young up and comers their chances. And there's some good.
There's some good. I think that's why they need to get them done by the end of next year. Most of these need to get done. So we do need like Wilder and Joshua
because otherwise
to fight.
Apart from the WBC, who are just absolutely outrageous. This is why I like the IBF, because they say, here's your mandatory, you fight it or you lose your belt.
Yeah.
You've got the belt could get fragmented. You might not have an undisputed champion, and that will give these up and comers. You're gonna
A chance.
They need to fight now for their little place, because they could become having a fight for a vacant belt pretty soon. And this is where I think Joshua wants to be. He wants to be, hold on, if I can get myself ranked number 1 or 2, I can be fighting for a vacant belt if it becomes available. Because if Fury does retire, the WBC belt becomes available. Mm-hmm. If Usyk doesn't want to do his IBF mandatory, that becomes available. So you become a world champion then, just by putting yourself in them rankings now. You can become a title challenger.
I think that's why Joshua's continuing, because there's an opening there. I think Zhang's deserves an opening.
Hrgovic is there. Wilder's there though as well.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
But they're all at that same age group, innit? So that's why we need to get rid of all of them. All of them have their thing and then get out the way.
2 years. I'd say they've got max 2 years.
Yeah.
And then
I think till the end of 2025, isn't it?
And that's it then. It is the passing of the torch of the heavyweight division.
Question. Do you think Usyk, if he beats him, becomes undisputed, he retires? Because what does he need to fight for?
Yes, he does retire.
Yeah. Because from legacy point of view, there's nothing to do, because you're double undisputed champion, unbeaten. Like, what's
money,
the point? Other than a money or other thing.
Money
I think
doesn't
he's
matter.
got money, I think.
Money doesn't
They've got
matter
the brand,
to Usyk.
they've got the thing.
He's beaten Joshua. He's beaten Fury.
Fury's beaten Wilder, so there's no more point going to Wilder.
The only thing that might do it is if Wilder obliterates Joshua.
Then there's a fight.
Possibly.
Because then he can say, I've beaten the 3 best.
But at the end of the day, when you become undisputed cruiserweight champion and then you become
heavyweight champion in like 5 fights or whatever it is, some small number. What are you going to show to prove to anybody?
I think you can retire.
I think you retire. Because he's not a spring chicken either.
You'd say, right, well, he's beat Joshua and Fury, who, let's be honest, are rated 1 and 2 as the best heavyweights around at the moment. And Usyk, but 1 and 2.
Well, if Fury hadn't fought Wilder, then you could have then it's 1, 2, there's the 3 of them. But I think the way Fury's taking care of Wilder, I think it is Joshua and Fury. He's beaten Joshua twice. He's done his thing. It's not like one. And then if you got to Fury, all right, there's a rematch thing. But I think that really depends on how close or whatever the fight is. I think most people are going to expect it to go to points. And I think with Usyk, I think Usyk's going to do it.
I think Usyk knocks him out.
Yeah. I think it's going to be his what is it? The best, ensemble performance to actually show off.
I don't know why. Everything in the fight should tell you that Fury wins.
Yeah.
But I think Usyk knocks him out.
I think Usyk knocks him out.
Um,
Is it really controversial to say that, though? I'm not sure it is now. I think before that last performance,
no,
it might
because
have
I've
been.
always
but I don't
thought
think
that.
it
I've
is.
always thought.
I've always thought Usyk wins. I've said at the beginning, Usyk's
Yeah,
the
and
best.
I've always said Fury hasn't got the best chin. And I think Usyk seems to be gaining a little bit of power up at heavyweight.
He looks a bit heavier again.
And
looks
I
like he's
think he
beat up a bit.
absolutely bedazzles Fury. Plays him
I
at
think
his
it's
own
going to be
game.
like his ultimate performance.
Yeah.
I think he's been playing possum a little bit with all the things.
I think Fury.
I think he unleashed a little bit on Joshua near the end of that fight, the first one, and then he's just played it out cool.
Yeah.
And he only let go a little bit in the second fight once Joshua caught him with that body shot, which he was like, oh, okay, still got something left.
I mean, I just think Usyk beat Fury in every department. I do. Be interesting to see because he's never fought anyone that size before.
Well, Fury's always had issues with southpaws and smaller people. Usually the people who are more like of a similar ilk, although he's usually the heaviest one, but of a similar ilk in size, he's dealt quite well with.
Yeah.
Because even I think one of his earlier fights, and he said himself, his earliest fights was against somebody who's like southpaw and smaller, who was quick, because they couldn't deal with his speed, with their speed.
Yeah, it's an interesting
And
one.
Usyk is a different level of that kind of speed and things.
It's not Usyk's speed, it's his footwork.
It's
It is his
footwork and
footwork.
his
His
timing
timing
and
is
his
just-
accuracy with his punches.
And it's
It's
why
like he said, I think somebody was asking him, well, does it hurt? And he's like, well, why don't you go and ask my opponents? He goes, did it hurt them or not? He goes, because I won those fights, so they must have done something.
yeah, I just think
If you keep getting stung, even by a bee, it hurts.
I just think he just clearly beat Fury in every department.
Mm-hmm. Well, power was the only thing. I think people were
And
thinking...
that's not just because of Fury's
But I
last
think-
performance. I thought that. I've always thought that.
Yeah.
I've always thought Usyk beats Fury. Always. And I've always thought Joshua beats Fury.
Yeah.
Because I always go back to the resumes. Because Fury's resume, apart from Klitschko and Wilder, is shocking.
Yeah.
It is shocking.
His other performances haven't been that great.
No.
The Klitschko one was a boxing masterclass, and I think that's what everybody's giving him.
Yeah,
that
but he had Klitschko beat before he got in the ring.
Yeah, I was going to say that is mentally blocked. I think,
And then when
I think if they'd had a rematch, I think
Klitschko
Klitschko
would have
wins.
knocked him out.
Yeah,
And I
He'd have worked him out.
think Fury knew that as well.
and that's why he went on his meander.
But it's an interesting time in heavyweight, like you say. It is they're getting to that age where they've got to push these big fights now.
Yeah,
I think what Joshua said, he's got 3 fights left in him.
I think all of them only got that much.
Yeah,
I think
and that's
Usyk
it.
retires if he does him. I think that's his last big fight. He doesn't need them, other than if he's earning money. It's for a money payday, but I don't think he needs either that. I think you just retire. Then these lot need to sort themselves out. And I think that's where Joshua's got his chance, and Wilder as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we'll call it there. Leave it on that.
Yeah,
And
interesting
till the next
times
episode.
ahead.
Like, subscribe, and comment, please.
Yeah, who do you think are the best heavyweights up and coming? Because that's what we will discuss.
We'll discuss later on in another
Yeah.
episode. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Behind closed doors.